Sorry. Just found another catchy song from another European country, a small European country. Okay, let's get started. Regular expression matching. Okay, let's get started. Given an input string and a pattern, implement regular expression matching with support for dot and star. So what do they mean? By the way, if you if I sound like I'm sick today, it is because that I am sick. So so you might hear a little bit nose noise coming from my nose. Lesson learned. Get your flu shot. Okay, so a dot matches any single character, and star matches 0 or more of the preceding elements. And the matching should cover the entire input string, not partial. Not partial, okay? So this is just partial match. This is so dot and star is just one of the features that regular expression has, and we are implementing this little feature which only has dot and star. If they add more things, I don't think we are able to finish this under 30 minutes. So S could be empty and contains only lowercase letters A to Z, and P could be empty and contains only lowercase letter A to Z and characters like dot and star. So we have, let's take a look at the example. We have input, which is AA, and P is A. It is false because here we have a pattern. It says H does not match the entire string. So S has to match A. And apparently in the pattern, we only have one character here. Now, move on to AA. The second example, we have A star, because that's true, because star means 0 or 0, okay, so it can match 0 or more of the preceding elements on A, therefore. By repeating A once, it becomes AA. Okay, so now we have AB, which is dot star, which is also true because dot star means 0 or more of any, any character, any character. Okay, so AB right here, it's dot dot, pretty much to the pattern. And then we have AB, which is C. Before we see the result, I like to see which ones. So C star, A star, B star. So C can match 0, or well, apparently right now we have no C's, so it doesn't match anything, which is fine. And then A star, we're looking at AA. Okay, this one, it's good. And then we have B, matches the last character. But now it's true. So B can be repeated 0 times, and then it can be repeated 1 time, and therefore it matches AAB. Let's see Mississippi. We have Mississippi. So up until this point, it's correct. But once we see a star, okay, up until this point, it's still correct because yes, because we have S is in front of star, and we have 2 S's. So, and this is correct too. But we see something which is not correct, which is I is not matching to P. We're missing an I here. So because it's asking for complete match, not partial match. So this is false. So okay, so if you took a compiler course in a college, that you know that this is a very typical recursion problem because of this part. because it's essentially it's like trying different combinations to see if the true result comes out. And so recursion, now this is our approach. If you haven't taken a compiler course, I recommend taking it because it can really deepen your knowledge in terms of coding with recursion. So, but this is just like this is just like the mini version of one of the projects that they do in compiler course. So it's very straightforward. Just do recursion, and so first of all, to write a compiler, to write a recursion, you need to have a termination condition in the beginning. So you need to have a termination condition in the beginning. In this case, how do we determine when to stop this recursion? When do we stop the depth of search? Now, it's when the two strings, when we reach the end of two strings, right? So, so first of all, when we reach string s, when we reach the end of string s, then we need to expect that p is reached the end too. So first of all, first of all, if length is equal to 0, then we want to return if p is 0 too. Okay, so this is a per check. If we have reached the end of the string, but pattern still has some left over, then apparently we don't want this to happen, right? Vice versa. And now we have checked the length, the string of. Okay, so now that we have done this check, so the length of s is definitely larger than 0, but p is not guaranteed to be larger than 0. So because it could be s larger than 10, the length of s could be 2 and the length of p could be 0. So right now we need to compare the character, right? So right now we need to compare the characters, the current character at both strings. So two conditions, right? Two conditions. One is that they are both characters. This one is the straightforward situation, and the other one is that if pattern p is a dot, right? So if pattern p is a dot, then because we're comparing from left to right, so we don't assuming that the input is valid. It doesn't say the input is going to be valid, so they could be putting a star at the beginning. But first, let's handle the valid input first, and then we can discuss this with the interviewer. Fuck the interviewer. I'm sorry about that. Let me get a drink. Okay, just try to pretend that this didn't happen. Ah, 楽しいですね。真的很好喝。정말 맛있습니다. 검정 좋습니다. Okay. Okay. So yes, I was at the start. So okay, so let's assume that the input will be valid and we won't have any star at the beginning. So first of all, we just need to see well, now just two conditions, right? One, they are both the characters, and the other situation is that the p is a dot and the s is a character. So these two. So well, if so, first of all, wait, hold up. So if there is more conditions, right? After this, so we better think through the thought process before we start coding, or it's gonna be a mess. So okay, so two conditions. If they're both characters, then this is fine, right? We can move forward to the next character respectively. But if another condition, if P is dot, then the next thing we need to check is if that the character right after dot, is it a star or just a character, right? So, excuse me. So if it's a star, then, well, if it's a star, then we have also two conditions, right? We'll have conditions right after this condition. So we have conditions right after if we have star and dot star, right? Here it looks like 0 or more of the preceding elements. It looks like it's one sentence, but it's actually two conditions, right? One is that we pick up the character, and the other condition is that we don't. So so two conditions, and then one conditions after two conditions. So two conditions. One is the characters match, and then one is the character match, and then move on to the next. Wait, hold up. The character match, yes, but then you also have to consider the fact that the pattern has a star right after that character. So if you move on to the next one, you're going to meet a star at the beginning, which will fail the algorithm. So we shouldn't think of it this way. This shouldn't be the first condition that we think of. The first condition that we think of should be whether the current character and its following character is a combination. No, whether the second character after the current character is a star, and then we discuss from there. So okay. So if it has a character, if it has a star, right? So if it has a star, if the second character has a star, let me make sure this. So if it does has a star at the second character, right? Then we need to see. Okay, if the previous character is a dot or not. Right? If it's a dot, then we match any character. If it's not, then we see if the current character matches. However, we also need to discuss two situations, right? Either we have to pick it up or not. So we can start a recursion after this. After we check if the first character, the second character is a star or not. Okay, and so we either pick it up or not, and we can choose not to pick it up, which is to skip the start, and then we can choose to pick it up, which means that which means that we don't actually have to. So if we do choose to pick it up, how do we handle this situation? Because we have already compared the current. Because we have already compared the and then I guess. Okay. I guess in this case that then we will. No, motherfucker. Either choose pick it up or not, and then do a or operation in between. But if it doesn't contain the second character, which is I'm sorry, my brain is. So if the second character is not a star, then we just compare the current. Character. So in a word, we still have to compare. So in a word, we also, to sum this up, we also, I mean, regardless of what situation, we always have to compare the current characters. So let's do a compare of the current characters first. So let's say if p.length okay, so let's do this. If Boolean match is equal to, so first of all, we need to see if the length is larger than 0, right? So let's do this. Chart S chart is at S dot chart at 0, and okay, because we have to verify that S has already been. So if Boolean, first of all, we need to see if its length is larger than 0. So, well, actually, let's do the same. If p length is equal to 0, return. So if length is equal to 0, then return if it's 0. Okay, so can I do the other way around? Can I refactor this? And we can refactor later. I feel like this can be rewrite into some kind of shortened version. So can we do if that is equal to this and see if they're equal to 0? If they're not, well, you can't really do this because, yeah, okay. Okay, so if and then you verify that it has must be larger than 0, then what you need to do is chart, and pch is equal to p dot chart at. Okay, so now you're comparing the first character and see. Okay, so first of all, we need to see match is equal to. So first of all, we need to see pattern. If pattern is dot or not, right? So if pattern is a dot, then which means that well, they match regardless. So assign true to this. But if it's not, we will what we're going to do is that we're going to do if sch is equal to pch. Okay. All right. So the next step is we need to discuss whether the second character. Now, if p.length is larger and equal to 2, because we want at least 2 characters, right? And p char at 1 is equal to a star. Okay? Else. Now, else is a little bit easier to discuss. So, if it's not, and well, if it's not, then which means that we can just return match. Or if it's so match, return match is when we only have 1 character left, right? But there's another condition is that it's the length is larger than 2, but the second character, which means here, is not equal to star. So match. Now we need to do another recursion, which is since the second character is not a star, so it will start from the beginning, start from the second character. So as the substring 1, and p dot substring 1. Okay, we'll get the substring of these. Now, the fucking annoying part comes. We have to now the annoying part comes is that now we have to see, okay, no, two conditions, like I said, two conditions. One is to choose to use this character, right? So now let's pick it easier first. So first of all, we need to return, well, if the matches first, right? So, well, if the match doesn't match, then it's not, it's kind of useless, right? So you need to have match, and you need to match this condition. So, like I said, I imagine that this would be an or condition, because you can either choose to take this character or not to take this character, right? Okay, so first of all, let's discuss the easier solution, which is not to take this character. Not to take this character would be is match. Would be so we skip it. So which will be wait. If we skip it, we don't even need to. Hold on. But if you skip it, we don't even need to compare match, right? Because we are skipping this character. So, which means that we have to rediscuss this. So is match. So is match. Now we're getting to get the substring. Is match. Well, get the substring string because we're not picking up any character. So the substring will not change because we are skipping this character. Now, because it cannot match, it does not match any character, right? So, and then p will be substring and 1, right? Because we're skip. Oh wait, hold on. Should be 2. Is match p substring 2, skip 1, and then we start from 2. Okay, and so another condition is that or, right? Or we pick up this character now. Oh wait. Now this is what we need to do. So is match or match, and then we skip over to the next character. It could match any number, right? It could match any number. Man, this is difficult. It could match any character, right? So we can match 1 and match 2. So pattern doesn't change, and then we move over. So is match. So s dot substring and then pattern. But also provided that also has to match this. Only 5 minutes left. I'm not sure if I have enough time. Okay, looking good. Okay. Fuck! It's false. Okay, what about normal case? Okay, so it's just this that is fucked up. Is match p substring 2? So it's just this. God damn it. Okay. So it's a dot and this. Okay, so all right. So AB. Okay, so all right. We entered this one, and they're not E0. AB they're both at A and dot. Now the second character is star, alright? Basic logic equal to 2. Enter this is match. Right now it's matching. Okay. So now it's matching, and is match p substring. Wait, what the fuck? P substring. It's already 2. It's already 0, right? So it's not. This one should return false. But then, however, this is true, and substring is 1. So B doesn't change, and then we have a dot star. Dot star means that dot star. So when we move on to B, it's comparing dot star. But so I should compare. The problem is that okay, so we have match and then B dot star, but it doesn't move. It doesn't move P. Do I need to move P? Well, P can be any number, right? And because we have reached the end of the string, so it ceases as false. Son of a bitch. So yes, this is the problem, because it never terminates. I want a mechanism to terminate the string. So if it matches, then we move on to, yes, S is okay to move on to the next step, right? And God damn it! So if it matches, then wait, hold on. Could there be two conditions here too? So if it's larger than, then we have the second character as a star, then we ignore this, else we add this. Another condition is that if length is equal to dot star, and so I have to handle this shoot. So this condition is something that I need to handle. Is that if this is dot star, if yeah, the problem is that when you reach to the end, how should I fucking handle this? Did I handle most cases? Output is false, but this is true. Oh. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna spend some time here. I don't know waste people's time. I'll go figure out now and then let you know my results. But I still want to figure out. Never mind. Okay, I just figured it out, and turn out that you have to. So you can't really check s.length equals to 0 here, because, which makes sense, because when you reach the end of s, you could be at dot star, right? So returning if requiring p to be 0 length is not wise. So instead, we will put the statement here to see if length is equal to 0. Now, if it is, then which will be false. And well, if so, here we have if p length is larger than 0, 2, and so this one we don't have to care. This is what we already discussed. And the problem is this one. I originally thought of checking s dot equal to 0 because I was thinking of this step, but then I realized that if you put it at 1, it's not going to be having a index out of bound exception. It's going to return an empty string. Because I was worried about just checking it here without doing it here will cause the index out of bound exception, but apparently it's not. But it's not a lot of code, but it's a lot of thinking. And well, since here you're judging if it's equal to 0, so you can't really assign the first character in this way. You have to do it this way. And well, it's a hard question. It marked hard, but it's not a lot of code. It's just a lot of thinking. And I guess the most important part here is that you need to keep track of the edge length. Yeah, because when we reach 0, it will return, so, which doesn't make sense. I didn't think of this step. I mean, I thought of this step, but I didn't think of how to handle that. Which is a tricky way. Very tricky. Anyways, thanks for watching me mumbling for 30 minutes. I wish I could do this better, but anyway, I will see you next time.